Has there ever been something that you believed in when you were a child, but you no longer believe in today? A few years ago, when my daughter was 7, we were chatting at our dinner table about family birthdays. And someone mentioned that her grandma would be turning 65 years old that year. And my daughter stopped and she said, "Well, that's not possible because Papa is not 65. And I clarified and I said, "No, Papa turns 65 next year, but Grandma is a year older than Papa." And she looked at me like I was crazy. And she said matter-of-factly, "Well, that's not possible because husbands have to be older and taller than their wives." You see, at some point in her life, she had come across some information that had created a foundational truth for her. And that truth was informing her that her grandmother couldn't possibly be turning 65 because her papa was only 64. And it made me wonder how many of us are walking around believing incorrect information that is shaping our thinking. And when we are presented with truth, how open are we to change our minds? Now, there's two approaches that we typically take in life. The first is to become more rigid and firm as we age. With this approach, it's very difficult to take time to consider new information against what we already hold to be true. But there's another approach that we can take, and that's an open-handedness approach, where we recognize that we can't possibly know everything about anything. Now, this approach requires humility and a growth mindset. We need to be willing and we need to want to learn and grow. This approach takes work, but it is such a healthy posture to life. And it reminds me so much of my daughter learning new information that ended up shifting her thinking and her approach to something she had once held firm to. You see, after we had clarified to her that a girl could be older and taller than her partner, she said something, and I wrote it down because she put into words something that I knew I wanted to embrace in my life. She said this, "Well, I guess my thinking was wrong." Friends, I found in life there is a freedom to discover that we can be wrong about something. So next time you're faced with new information, take a moment and ask yourself, what approach is it that I want to take? Do I want to become someone who is rigid and set in my ways? Or do I want to become someone who is open-handed and willing to grow?